Welcome to episode 430 of the Steel Cage podcast. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as the team captain of Team Steel Cage, and we are joined together to discuss NXT War Games. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the table and get everybody's best War Games as we introduce everybody. Joining me first here from in Phoenix, Arizona, but he comes to you from Boyle Heights. It's the NeoEcks.
It's the War Games.
No. Now do my wife. Wait, no, don't do my wife. No, don't. Fucking never mind. Do
the
not.
new podcast.
Stop it. All right. Also joining us from
Steel
the
Cucks.
northwest. It's Uncle Beek. Give me your War Games.
War Games.
War Games.
That's a pretty good War Games. Way better than yours, Neo.
War Games.
And joining us this week, last but not least, he is the founder and proprietor of this very website, thesteelcage.com. It's Mr. Joshua Schlag. Josh, give me a War Games.
War Games.
Yeah, there it is.
Wouldn't he be the team captain?
No, not anymore. No, The team captain has to be here every week, Josh.
Yeah,
Captain goes down with the ship.
Aha.
2020 has been a rough year for me as a wrestling fan.
Not personally. You've had a great 2020.
I'll give you the pass on that too, man. Like, that's me for sure.
I mean, I honestly, you guys know, I sprung up in the middle of the summer with Neo. I'm like, I'm gonna watch some New Japan, and I did for a little bit, and then I kind of just, I don't know, man. I couldn't stay connected to any pro wrestling, even if it was kind of good. But I don't know. We're talking about
a sad way to start a podcast off.
Well,
I don't even like wrestling.
Yeah.
Yes,
wrestling,
but
sympathetic baby face turn. Here we go.
But I decided to watch War Games this past Sunday. It was
War Games.
It was like a little slice of returning to normalism, except for I'm not with any of my friends. But like, I made a turkey. We had like the whole Thanksgiving setup, kind of like we used to do back in the day when we'd get together for Survivor Series. We'd
Richard
make Duckin and all that. But I just made a 15-pound turkey for my wife and I.
Oh my God, my wife!
For my wife. and sat my ass on the couch and watched War Games, and it was like just not like following anything, but just jumping right in. Like I did see some stuff here and there before. Like I saw Pat McAfee's other match, and so it wasn't like totally out of left field, but. Just coming in, watching this show, like it was a lot of fun. And it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, I haven't watched a lot of wrestling this year, but this was the sort of thing that reminded me why I love wrestling, and that's not going away.
It's one of those things, right, where you can really appreciate the video packaging, right? Because the video packaging in this pay-per-view, even for myself, like I really didn't watch a lot of NXT because I am AEW for life, and watching the video packages, I mean, I felt caught up for the most part.
It gets you hyped too, right? I mean, they do exactly enough. I've even accused WWE in the past of sometimes making what happened look better in the video packages.
Oh, definitely.
If you miss the actual episode,
that turd.
Oh, it looks incredible the video package, but you're like, wait a minute, I watched that piece of shit match. That match sucked, they did a great job of that. And I think just hyping it overall, I didn't think that this particular show had a lot of, I'll say it did have storyline cohesion, but it didn't have like this big, like overshadowing effect on NXT. Like the War Games is a lot like Survivor Series, where it's teams, put together and they pretty much kind of just abandon it after it's over, right? So it's not like there's long lasting ramifications typically from this show, with the exception of like Undisputed Era. None of the teams are teams. These are people that just got together to fight someone else. I did like the fact that they went back and they actually do address so much of the little things that they have going on in between these guys, like the rivalry between Pat McAfee and Adam Cole. That's something that I had very little interest in, to be honest. That kind of lost some of my interest in NXT overall, just having Pat McAfee involved so much. I will say he won me over. Like, he has won me over. And I think I just had this reluctance, this classic thing that we do to celebrities where we don't want to let them in. We don't want to accept them as part of the wrestling world. I think he moved past that. And this match, if you weren't convinced, this match had to do it for you.
So, question, did you watch the initial fight between Adam Cole and Pat McAfee?
I did. And it just didn't do the same for me that this did.
Fair.
I will say that I was impressed then too by his ability to wrestle, his ability to understand what pro wrestling is, not go in there stiff, but go in there looking like a mediocre wrestler. And that's hard to do when you're not trained to be one of these guys. And I give him all the credit for that. I just personally don't like Pat McAfee. I didn't like him. They never tried to make you like him because I feel like he was always a heel. It's just that other different kind of liking where it kind of turns you off to the product instead of being like, oh, I want to see this guy get his ass kicked.
Dude, when he showed up on one of the shows wearing like cut off shorts, like cut off jean shorts with his suit, I'm like, all right, this guy's rather amusing. And then he blew me away by all expectations. The match with Cole, him on the microphone, dude, he's great. I don't know if he's so good he should be a leader of a heavy hitting faction in NXT, but it's panning out better than expected.
You know, I think the very thing about that is what a leader is, somebody that convinces people to get behind him, right? And I think from that standpoint, he very well could be a leader. I always like the idea of guys that run their mouth getting heavy hitters behind them to do the dirty work while they just sit there and talk shit. I just think that maybe that's what I classified him as, and maybe I didn't give him enough credit for the match with Cole. But in this match, with the shit he did, I mean, he was willing to go harder in the paint than people that have been in WWE for years. Like, that's what impressed me, was his ability in this match with Undisputed Era to put his body on the line, not just once, but multiple times, and just do the goddamn thing. Do the thing that needed to be done in order to make those spots, memorable and cool. And he delivered.
And personally, not knowing any of the sports, I needed to learn what he did. And the fact when, you bring it kind of like to your point, right? You brought in this outsider to come inside of the wrestling world. I think it was really great how they blurred the lines of reality when Adam Cole went on the talk show and, got all up in his face. And then McAfee came to NXT, and jumped Cole and whatnot. I thought it was really great how they did it. And that was kind of the thing that hooked me. But because it's on Wednesdays,
I think when the Cole and on the podcast or whatever the video cast they were doing, when he showed up and they had the confrontation, I think everyone was kind of like, my God. Especially with how corny it was. Like this is clearly working to an angle. But yeah, I mean, they actually pulled it off, man. Like
and Adam Cole was kind of the corny one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but Adam Cole was the corny one in that
exactly.
one. I thought Pat McAfee was actually pretty good in that whole scenario where Cole came on his show and they had that confrontation, right? So
I was gonna say, as far as other celebrities that like surprised the hell out of us, like K-Fed, remember, dude, he actually panned out as far as being really entertaining.
Yeah.
But also think of it like fedora's off. If you would have saw this without your fedora, you probably would have, gotten sucked into it, because it was a stunt.
Yeah.
And I'll give it a stunt. It was definitely a stunt.
Yeah. But it worked out. And it's worked out better than most celebrity involvement that they've had. I feel like he was more committed to this and was able to go at a pretty high level.
Yeah.
This isn't a fucking easy match to be involved with. This is a dangerous match to be involved with. You can easily get hurt in so many ways, and that doesn't even involve you jumping off the top of the cage like he did. And He didn't even do the standard flop fucking move. He did a fucking, like, come on, man.
Swanton bam.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give him credit for that.
You expect people, even like actual wrestlers, when they go up there, it's like, we're just gonna do a crossbody. We're just gonna drop on everybody nicely so they can catch me. Yeah, I respect his dedication to the craft. He's clearly a fan. And he's found ways to use his athleticism to, it's kind of like, pick your spots and do a few things. That's all he needs to do, especially in a match like this with all the other guys in there. And then, you talk about like blurring the lines. Like I love the aftermath because I don't watch him all the time, but I always get notifications when he's going live on YouTube and stuff because my quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, is on the Pat McAfee show every Tuesday. God. Anyways, but I got the notification actually on Monday. He didn't have it on Tuesday, but on Monday when he was doing his show, he did his whole freaking show wearing a Bobby Heenan style neck brace.
Yes,
like,
hilarious.
Yes, again, man, the dedication to the craft. I freaking loved it. Like he had it on the whole time. It was great. I'm a little disappointed that he took it off for Aaron Rodgers, and he probably did that because his Aaron Rodgers clips always get a lot more national attention. And he's like, do I need to be this goofy dude wearing this weird neck brace?
Yes, that's especially when you need to be that.
I kind of wish he did.
Yeah,
but one day at least, I thought that was at least still pretty cool.
He's almost as committed as Sandman was when he stayed in the house for 6 months. Almost. But I thought this was a fun show, man. Those War Games matches, I think that they could easily become a shit show and not be very entertaining. And I thought both of these matches on this particular card were extremely entertaining. I thought the women especially killed it. But just touching on the men's match before we move on a bit more, I wanted to say that I've been really impressed that the Undisputed Era have very low-key under the radar turned face, right? I mean, I'm blown away by that. I mean, maybe it's the Pat McAfee involvement and you're just like, yeah, fuck him, so anybody that's against him is going to be who I root for. It seems like the Undisputed Era slyly turned face there.
I had no idea they were face. I tuned into this. I'm like, oh, everybody's cheering them and actively booing the other team. Okay, even Pete Dunne. And speaking of which, Pete Dunne, I haven't seen him in months. He's jacked and ripped.
Fucking jacked.
What happened there?
I thought the same thing too when I saw him again. I was like, I have clearly not been watching NXT UK because Pete Dunne is jacked.
Just, COVID and it's like got nothing else to do. My God, he's in crazy shape.
He bought himself a set of home weights, if you know what I'm saying, right?
Peloton, Bowflex.
He's playing Ring Fit.
Yeah, honestly, there it is. There it is.
Undisputed Era
level 160 right now.
They were like a well-oiled machine. Like this, if you wanted to show like an Undisputed Era match with somebody, this is how these guys operate together. Yeah. Watch this shit. Yep. Especially when they were each taking turns laying the guys out when they were walking the fence and the ropes in the fence.
Yep. Oh
God. I said
flying forearm, fucking knee, super kick. That was dope, man.
I forgot to drink this THC.
Oh shit! Wait. This podcast is sponsored by Uncle Beek drinking 100 milligrams of THC. Uncle Beek's THC.
100 milligrams of very legal.
I should start selling my own.
Dude, my weed. I said it before. I say it again. That'll last me like months.
Yeah.
And you just 10 seconds.
Yep, just 10 seconds. And you know what? He'll be fine.
Magic.
He's totally gonna be fine. He's actually gonna be great because of it.
I love what we're all doing here because we got that going on. I don't know what you're drinking, Derek.
Yeah, I'm drinking vodka.
Is that just straight vodka?
Yeah.
We got Neo with the tea, just sipping on tea.
I'm drinking tea because I've been on the phone all day, talking to people all day. I had a bunch of fucking meetings and I just speak all the time. And my throat just started getting on my nerves.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's take a moment and just give a shout out to everybody working from home. And tell everybody that one of the most important things you can do is call your friends and check on them. We all hate this. This sucks. and it's kind of nice just to have people in your life like we do in our group chat to vent to and tell everybody that I don't like today. You know,
hey, got a question, not to be awkward or anything. How does one become part of this glowing friendship group?
Yeah, you have to pay to the Matt Mania podcast Patreon.
I would love if you guys would check in on me to see how I'm doing.
You gotta pay that money. You gotta pay that money. I don't know. I check on you individually. Yeah, it's fine. You're fine. We know you're fine.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, no. Check your friends. They need it. These friends, like the Undisputed Era, they're tremendous friends, and it was just fucking great to see them. Like, I don't know, get in those rhythms. Like, I will say it bothered me to see. It still bothered me to see Pat McAfee like kick out of the Panama Sunrise and still have such a great showing. But it is what it is. I'm not, I don't try to put on too big of a fedora when I'm watching the match and let that bother me too much. But it just feels like the Undisputed Era should have won this a little more handedly, and whatever.
Well, I thought the funniest part was when Kyle O'Reilly was talking to Pat McAfee, and he was saying like how much of a mark he is. Like, you want to get into the wrestling world, and he just like starts wailing on him. I mean, I thought it was great because he was taking his licks.
He really did.
Give him that.
He really did. Like, if you want to talk about an initiation into wrestling, he got it in this match, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought this was great. I also thought the women's match was really, really outstanding. I thought that they told a great story. I sincerely think NXT has the baddest bitches in WWE. Respectfully speaking. But yes, they are an amazing group of women, and they're all just people that I don't like. I don't know. Like, I was realizing each team is just assembled of these women that I find to all just be incredibly intimidating, and I think each and every one of them could kick my ass, and that's awesome.
Damn right. I agree that all they all could whip your ass too as well, Derek.
Yeah, no. I don't think that there's no arguing that fact. But what were your thoughts on the badassery? What's really great about
they're all like so distinct. Their characters, like, no one is a good cookie cutter version of the other person,
right?
And they actually, I don't need to pile on beloved AEW, but they present women much better on the NXT show. Inarguably, well, and I think AEW can get there. There's no doubt in my mind.
That's actually, I think, a knock against the WWE main roster too. I agree with you there, because NXT has the best women's roster across the board, in my opinion.
100%. Except for maybe like Sendai Girls or something, or Stardom, or something all women roster.
Yeah.
I put my fedora on, Derek.
Yeah, that was fast. I didn't even see the fedora slip on, my lady.
Wow.
But yeah, what would you say, Neo? Would you agree with that about the? I do think AEW's women's division is getting substantially better, and I think it's happening fast. But do you agree that it hasn't happened as fast as you thought it would?
100%. I will be the first to admit that it's not, an overnight success. But then again, Rome was never built in a day. Sure. AEW is still a year, maybe a year and a half old, and they have Dark, that showcases some women and some underground talent. In my opinion, I feel like AEW Dark is what NXT currently, or to what NXT was, right? And now, NXT is on par with the main roster, and it just wasn't built overnight. But I think today's episode was nice because you had Brandy Rose going up against Jade, and you got that interview with Shaq. Kind of
speaking of celebrity involvement,
that's a whole other scenario, right? We got
what is Shaq-a-roni?
Right, like bigger,
which I still haven't been able to eat. By the way, I've never seen a Shaq-a-roni.
Oh, you haven't had a Shaq-a-roni?
Oh God! Tell them how much pepperoni is on the Shaq-a-roni Shack.
Oh shit! So much pepperoni.
So much pepperoni. You're missing out, Theo.
Like my feet throws missing it.
Shaq, what are you doing at AEW? Oh man,
I can only do Shaq for so long.
So this,
I think I'm gonna call on Shaq more often. You should have started that.
Awesome.
This is a crazy couple of weeks for AEW as far as that mainstream attention, because we had Sting last week, and now we have Shaq showing up this week. And I know we're gonna get to all of that, and I don't want to like jump around too much.
Sure.
But Shaq is, you know, I don't know if Shaq's that big of a deal anymore. Like, I will say that I have become a big fan of his reality show, which I started watching because it airs after AEW Dynamite, and I had that little 30-minute, you know, kind of go over in case the show goes long, and because of that, I started watching Shaq's show, and all I could really determine from that was Shaq is really trying hard to hold on to the limelight. What ends up happening is he crosses over and ends up on AEW, which, I mean, it's not surprising at all. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? Is it a desperate move? Is it AEW just trying to grab a little bit more mainstream attention? What do you think?
Quick question: is Shaq on that big show that Cody Rhodes is on?
He's not. I believe Snoop Dogg is on there, but no, Shaq is not. Yeah.
That's what I was going to mention. The Snoop Dogg thing is interesting, since Snoop Dogg was just doing a cross-promotional thing with The Undertaker for the WWE, and now he's on AEW. Like, that's pretty interesting that Snoop Dogg gets the pass to basically work with whatever wrestling company damn well feels like.
Hell yeah, he's like Mega Ran.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they pulled, I guess, the Snoop Dogg Undertaker shirts are already not on the site anymore.
Oh, yours that you made?
No.
Oh,
the WWE ones.
Oh, the WWE ones.
Yeah.
Wow.
WWE.
Apparently, they're no longer selling them.
Wow. Was that just the picture of him dressed up as the Undertaker? Is that what it was?
No, there was a whole bunch.
There was
of
a lot
ones.
of them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm not talking about the one that I was selling, friend. I'm talking about yeah.
That's a whole other thing, and that's on pentagonzo.com.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Well, good. All right. But anyway. So, but yeah, no, I mean, Shaq. Neo, what do you think of him coming to your beloved AEW?
You know, I just think the one of the board members of Papa John's has the ability to really make ends, connect to the mainstream maybe a little bit more. I mean, he saved
that fucking company. He saved that company's ass.
With what?
With everything.
There you go. Shakaroni.
Yeah, the Shakaroni. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I feel like, the more cross promotion you can do, the better. It's just going to get more eyes on you. Hopefully when, Shaq does his stuff on ESPN, maybe there's a plug. I don't know. I think you're at the point where networking right now isn't really going to hurt you, but you definitely should just pick your spots, in my opinion. Just pick your spots and pick what's going to be relevant to you and yours. Because, once you start doing what WWE is doing, where they just kind of, accept any other sponsor or they start putting their logos on any other piece of merch, I don't know. You could really start losing your fan base. So it's a really fine line if you think about it.
I couldn't believe how fast Cain Velasquez disappeared from WWE, because they made an entire merch line for him.
Yeah.
And that shit went on clearance just about as fast as it popped up on their website. Like, he was there. It was a grand opening and grand closing for his ass. Josh, do we see Shaq wrestle?
I don't know. I didn't catch like what he did tonight, but the main thing I think about when I think about Shaquille O'Neal and pro wrestling, he was on the Phoenix Suns, and he had some beef going with Carlito.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The coolest part is Shaquille O'Neal is such a large man, he could hide a steel chair behind his back. Like, he was just holding it behind his back. Like, you'd hide, you're hiding your phone behind your back. That's what else can you hide behind your back? Shaquille O'Neal can hide a whole fucking chair behind his back.
He can probably also hide a shakaroni with it.
Oh
he can hide you behind it.
He could hide a swoggle holding a
Schlag
shakaroni.
on my back right now.
Good Lord. So yeah, I don't know. Whatever this Shaquille O'Neal involvement is. I mean, you said it. He's got his own reality show that comes on after AEW. That's the tie-in.
That's the tie-in, definitely. Yeah. But
and plus, TNT and NBA, the relationship there is like established. It makes sense to me that there's a basketball player appearing on AEW? Just clear.
Yeah, so this on one hand seems like an opportunity for them to introduce the woman who introduced him last week, which was or was it last week? I'm not sure. I think it might have been a couple.
It was Jade.
Yeah, Jade Cargill, and like this also feels like that's part of it is a chance to get her kind of in the mainstream, or just kind of introduced because she looks
it was basically
like a badass.
Shaq pop it out and say, Brandy, you shouldn't have been talking all that mess. Oh, wait.
Brandy, you shouldn't be talking all
that mess. That's
better. There you go.
And then Brandy threw water in Shaq's face or something, a drink.
Yes.
It was pretty fucking hilarious.
Now, I am definitely not a person who should be speaking on this, but I will say that, like, there's things that happen in AEW where it's like just so cringeworthy to listen to. Like when Bowens and his tag team partners showed up to confront the Young Bucks and they started like
rapping about wieners.
Yeah, rapping about wieners. And that fucking, I was like, I can't even get through this. Like, I can't even just sit here and let this happen right now. I need to fast forward through this because it's so bad. And I felt that way when Brandy started, I'll say, leveling up against Jade Cargill when she went out to confront her.
Well, I would just say, like, she was just, she got all ratchet in her face.
Yeah, she got mad ratchet in her face, and it was very uncharacteristic. And it also came off as just being, like, just very forced, I feel like I told my wife, I got myself, that's right. I told her, like, I wish in wrestling, wrestlers understood that less is more, but also that the camera is on you at all times and we see every little facial expression, everything. Like, that's that shit I think that some people would benefit from not overdoing it so much. And I felt like maybe with AEW, it's the lack of experience, right? It's the excitement about being on television, and it's the fact that a lot of them, not Brandy.
Yeah,
but
I feel like they want to feature, and I think they want to feature as much as possible.
Sure. Yeah. And like, they give everybody their moment kind of deal.
And how long is the show? What, like 2 hours?
Yeah. There's not enough time for that. Not when Jericho needs to come out and have his whole theme song sung.
Exactly. I'm just glad you said ghetto or you said ratchet, because people said ghetto online and that caused quite a controversy.
Yeah, that's different. Like that's why I like ratchet, because I remember like Sasha Banks did that, right? She's kind of ratchet. I think it's I don't even know if it is a more PC word.
No,
but
it's fine. We're leaving it.
Talking out her neck.
Yeah. But going back to the women and what we were touching on with NXT, NXT had their women's match. It was, in my opinion, incredibly successful, incredibly violent,
crazy,
and
incredibly violent.
That the level that you want to see in a War Games match.
Ember Moon really did it for me. The eclipse from the top rope over the off the top rope on the chair.
Yeah.
It just looked brutal. Like, that was definitely like one of the highlights in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, it was Raquel Gonzalez, which I think that they really wanted to give her that rub and make her look like the monster that they're building her to be, right?
When it was Raquel versus Rhea, that was an Amazonian fight.
Yeah, that was fucking dope, right?
Dude,
that's a Haas fight.
I like it. Raquel, I was gonna say Raquel Gonzalez. She surprised me, because all I really knew her from was the 2 Mae Young Classics she was in, and I'm like, this chick sucks. Why does she have a contract? I don't get it. She's come a long ways. I mean, as I would imagine she should, spending all the time full time at the Performance Center and training and all that. Yeah, it was impressive. I dug that.
I think it's finding the right role that, like Neo said, that heater role for her was so perfect. And to be honest, Dakota Kai has been incredible, but they're literally like the HBK and Diesel of
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's swapped at this point. Like now Raquel is almost the leader, and Dakota's there hanging out.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean that finish where she put Io Shirai through the ladder with one arm, like. And I know she was using two arms at different times, but it's like she was just so effortless with that fucking move. Like the only thing that she was missing there at the end was the classic like drooling, like she just moved too fast. We needed like a good facial emote or something from her after that. Like, because that's the thing that you notice are the difference between like the guys that are main eventers and the people that are still like learning is just those little moments. And like sometimes it's stupid, but you're like, yeah, Edge would have sat there and stared at him for a while and like drooled out of his mouth a little bit and would have just given the cameraman a great chance to catch that face before he pinned him, But man, that was just a fucking badass ending and a badass match.
I wanted to put over the great Sasuke impression by Io, putting the garbage can on her head and jumping off. How incredible was that? And she didn't just like drop off, she jumped out. It was pretty fucking great.
Yeah, it was almost like a plancha with the trash can on.
Yeah.
It's just fucking wild. Like it's literally wild. Like that's the most trust fall I've ever seen in my life. Like holy shit, man! Just to put a trash can on your head and believe 100% that the people you work with down below are going to take care of you. Take some fucking balls, man. And I had to say it that way, so sorry, but I'm saying it that way.
Balls.
Marbles.
Indeed.
Hey, it's like the AC/DC song. She can have big balls too.
That's right. That's right.
Shotzi Badass or Shotzi Blackheart. She's the ballsy badass.
Yeah, she's got a new tank. Hell yes.
That was actually pretty dope too with a t-shirt cannon.
A little taking care of business action. Yep. Yeah, glad to see it upgraded. I love the fact that literally started because she found a tank one day at a store and it was like a little kid's tank. And then here we are years later where WWE had to build her a tank. By God, one day she is going to drive a tank to WrestleMania. Sorry, Rusev.
Oh, sorry, Rusev. Yep.
Sorry, Miro. But yeah. The rest of the show, kind of filler. I thought there were some good matches, but nothing too great, except for the North American Championship match for my money. I thought was really good. I thought they told a great story. God damn it, if I could bottle fucking Leon Ruff and like everything that guy understands about wrestling and just make other wrestlers drink it, we'd have the greatest company ever. Like there is something about Leon Ruff that I swear to fucking God gets it at a very young age. And like, it's just incredible. I love that guy. I really do. I think he's great.
I think he's awesome too. This is the next step though. Like what happens? Does he fall by the wayside and it is a fluke championship win, or is he in a program with somebody else for a while? So
I hope this becomes a thing. Like the thing that it brings back to me is like my childhood, watching the Lightning Kid pin Razor Ramon and become the 1, 2, 3 kid. And this whole thing takes off from there. Like this could be another situation like that. I don't know. I mean, it depends. I think it depends on him and it depends on creative. Like, is there a spot they can make for him?
I see a lot of people look very starry-eyed still when they go out there, especially at like a pay-per-view like TakeOver or, the main roster pay-per-views. And this kid just doesn't look that. He comes out with an intensity that few people have. And like, don't get me wrong, this was a great match overall. Like I thought that, between him, Priest, and Gargano, you had a nice mix of styles. And there was a nice story being told there where Damian Priest kind of like, kept like treating him pathetically and trying to feel sorry for him. And like,
you're almost just in the way.
Yeah. And he wasn't having none of it. Right. Yeah. Like it was a fucking awesome story. That spot where he gave him the razor's edge up against the, you know, the glass, and the wall fell down.
Yeah.
And it knocked down another wall, and like the way people scattered and shit, it was perfect, dude. Like, I still didn't know if any of that was supposed to happen. Like, I'm pretty sure the first wall was supposed to go down, right? But like, just the reaction from the crowd and shit made me wonder, like, was the rest of that supposed to happen?
They were running for their lives.
Yeah, they really were, you know. It was great. It was really good. But I thought, for me, everything of that match, with the exception of the fucking, you know, Retribution ghosts showing up, doing the Retribution thing.
That's
like
that was exactly my entire gripe, dude. Like, this match, it was fantastic. And again, as a person who wasn't watching the product day in and day out, the video package, great. It got me well informed, and it got me interested. And I was watching, and I'm like, man, this kid has got that X factor.
Yeah.
He may not be the best on the mic, but he's got that intensity and he's got that factor, right? And then all of a sudden, to just kind of piss away the finish like that, I'm like, I just threw my hands up and like,
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I did the same thing.
That was whack.
And like, apparently it was 30 people that was actually one Austin Theory. There was like 30 ghost faces, and then it just one. I was exaggerating.
I'm disappointed in this whole thing because I didn't know about the ghost face thing. I didn't know what the heck all that was. No. I still kind of barely know who Austin Theory is. Sorry, not sorry. But I was, you know, once we saw the ghost faces, like the thought in the back of my head, I honestly didn't really think it would happen, but I was like, it'd be pretty cool if that was actually David Arquette in one of those.
That would have been.
Holy crap! You just fantasy booked what needs to happen.
I mean, I don't know. Is it too late? They did the reveal and all that.
No, because there could be another one, man.
There was 12 of them out there. It could have been any one of them.
There was 30, exactly.
RJ City could be one of them. This could be great.
I'm just saying, like, the NXT audience too. I don't know, from the David Arquette whole standpoint, like, the NXT audience is the ones, like, we would embrace the shit out of David Arquette showing up and like full redemption from WCW after everything he did on the indies and all that, like,
especially since WWE owns those WCW properties. They're more than you know, able to do something with that.
They can build like a secondary documentary after, you know, the one that he put out. You know, that it kind of be like the WWE follow-up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
I honestly am kind of surprised that Vince said okay with the ghost face screen mask. I'm like, he's like, well, that's so recognizable. To me, it's weird that they went that way, but I'm enjoying it.
Like, I mean, I don't. You want to explain Slapjack's mask? I mean, fuck, dude.
Like, that's even better. Something like that would be better. Like something that's nondescript and not so recognizable.
I hate it all. I don't like any of it.
There you go. They should have a fisherman like I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, that's now we're talking.
Ooh.
Now we're talking.
Big hook
in the hand. Yeah.
So is Retribution still a thing? Like, it looked pretty bad what I've seen of it so far, and it seems like it's just been one of those major drop the ball type of things.
Well, they're still losing, if that's your question. I don't believe they've won more than one match in their existence, and I think even that was kind of a fluke win against Ricochet. They've made them look absolutely pathetic, and besides being pathetic, I think people can put win-loss records aside if they were doing something. You can tell now that they just don't give a shit about Retribution as a story. They care way more about the Hurt Business now than they care about Retribution, despite the amount of work that they put into it over the course of the summer.
They should, though, because the Hurt Business is getting over. They're kicking ass. They're awesome. They have a cool moniker. Everything about them is kind of cool, whereas Retribution is just like, this is manufactured chaos. Like,
I don't blame Retribution, right? Because it's not their fault.
No.
They got put into a terrible position.
It's a no-win
they could
position.
salvage it if they just like come out and say, screw these freaking masks and like go by their real names? Do you think that's salvageable?
I don't know. I don't know.
If they say screw these masks and screw creative, like this whole thing is bullshit.
Like, no, this is this is just proving our point. Like, let's pull the curtain back a little bit.
Okay, yeah. If you went meta with it and had them straight up be like,
look how awful this is.
Yeah,
I'm fucking T-Bar.
Right. And then they were like, and then they were like, my real name is this, I'm Donovan Dijakovic, and this is, who I am. And
that could actually work.
Yeah.
Did they ever do that? No, not for those guys, I don't think. I mean, like they've got enough other stuff. Like Raw's Raw, right? Like they.
And as much as I love Mia Yim, she's not strong enough as a character to be this evil bad guy chick that we're actually angry at, man. She's like a likable person.
Yeah, she's a tremendously likable person. Not only that, but she's with the most likable person in WWE in Keith Lee. So I'm supposed to fucking act like that couple is no, I can't. WWE has to realize and embrace the age that we're in. We're in this reality information, misinformation age, right? And I say that because you can easily, if you're smart about it, you can easily manipulate information and trick people into believing different things. That's what the Trump administration is all about. That's what Facebook does 99% of the time. It's all about fucking tricking people and making them believe information that isn't actually the truth, right? WWE doesn't do enough of that with the information that we know. This particular group is a perfect example of that. There's no reason for them when in this day and age, the best part about that on the video right now was that when you were lifting your dog's arm up and down, all I was seeing was Marty Jannetty's face peeking out from underneath his armpit, which is hilarious. Sorry to stop talking in the middle of that, but if you're watching this video, you get what's going on.
And if you're not, go to youtube.com and look up the Steel Cage podcast.
That's right.
Hang out with us. Plug
drink
skis.
with us, watch us.
Plug ski.
But yeah, it's more of treating us dumb because we know who all of these members are and we're supposed to, just play along with this particular thing. We play along with stuff all the time, but it has to be good. It's like the Bray Wyatt shit, right? We play along with all of that shit and we never question when he's got special powers and when he doesn't have special powers and Alexa Bliss and all of this other shit, right? But we just kind of go along for the ride. That's because at the very core of it, it's still pretty fun to watch.
Except for Raw totally annoyed the shit out of me with him disappearing while he was being pinned.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I can suspend disbelief, but that's unbelievable.
That was a bunch of baloney. Like even that is just like no. Like I just can't buy into that. Like don't insult my intelligence with your disappearing act while you're getting pinned. I mean,
it's just ridiculous.
Who's controlling the light switch?
He became the Fiend, you guys.
It just come out of his skin. He just literally morphed. Going back to Retribution real quick, if they do that thing we were talking about where they dump the mask, I think it'd be awesome if Slapjack said, "No, I like my mask. I like being Slapjack," because he would get over it like that. I think out of all of them, people like him the most.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And honestly, he's
a gem on Twitter.
Well, and his ulterior persona of Shane Thorne isn't very interesting.
No,
right? He lost his tag team partner and everything that he had going, kind of as an already set, career wrestler. He
tag team specialist, right? And he was trying to reinvent himself as this heel singles wrestler in NXT. But you're right. Like that would be great if of everybody, he was the one that was like, no. This is me now.
I'm fucking Slapjack.
Because I think of everybody, he would be the one we would accept as just being Slapjack.
100%. 100%.
Without a doubt.
Like no hockey relation at all, ever.
No.
Sweet mask in the name.
No, it'd be hilarious if people made hockey references to him and he didn't get them.
Yeah,
you'd be like, that's
I like
through
rugby,
the
mate. I like rugby.
that's through the 5-hole. I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? And they're like, what do you mean you don't know what 5-hole is? You got a hockey mask on. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm on board with this idea. Let's save Retribution. Hashtag save Retribution. We need to figure out a way to save them. All right.
All right.
But that's all. I've had enough of WWE because I thought AEW, to be honest, has brought it lately. We talked about Shaq. Shaq's not exactly bringing it, but let's talk about the appearance of Sting. Sting, you guys, not on a surfboard, by the way. No. Still not on a surfboard.
On a snowboard.
No waves in his video package. Not a single beach in that motherfucker. But winter has come. It came all over us. And we have Sting here now.
Crazy.
In AEW.
Stanging it up.
Did you watch this week's AEW yet, Dirk?
I have not caught this week's AEW yet. I was preparing for this show. But I will say that I am not impressed by this in any way.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. This week, there's a pretty good follow-up. He doesn't appear to be a babyface. He appears to be kind of a dickhead who comes up and
that's good.
Gives Tony Schiavone this forced hug that makes him all uncomfortable. Make him say his name again. He goes, "Everyone loves when you say my name. Give us a Sting, Tony." And Tony goes, "Sting!" And then he comes over to Cody and gets in Cody's face and goes, "I'm not ready for you yet. See you around, kid." And I give him the little nudge with his head to head. Like, I like this disingenuous dickhead potential Sting. People pointed out that Cody, he'd still be a babyface fucking with Cody because Cody is not a very good babyface, all things considered. But I would love a dickhead Sting who hardly ever wrestles, manages to get himself out of matches all the time, and is just a total prick.
Yes, I like this idea. I will say that even though I said I was unimpressed, I liked I liked his pantomime last week when he showed up, right? I liked the way that he walked in the ring and he gave everybody a little thing without talking. So it was like, yeah, Arn Anderson, and Arn was like talking to him and he's like, gave him kind of a little chest hug thing, and he went over to Cody like, "Hey buddy, look, it's your favorite wrestler, it's me. Does that make you happy?" And then
remember when I was a surfer?
Then he goes over to Darby and is like, "What the fuck is this half fucking painted face shit you got going on?" And just everything about it was kind of cool. Like, I definitely liked the way Sting approached it. I'm not excited about him being there. Like, it doesn't move the needle for me like they were talking about the fans being excited. It's not that big of a deal for me. But I will say that if they go in the direction that you're talking about, Beek, and they actually utilize him in a way that, you know, where he kind of comes in and big times everybody, like he's the biggest star on the show and is just this dick about it, that could be fucking amazing.
Everything I've seen and heard about this, like it just seems like already it comes across as, all right, we're doing this the right way. We're not doing this what WWE did with this, because WWE's storyline, all I remember about Sting actually showing up in WWE was essentially like, holy shit, Sting's in WWE. Like, that was the storyline.
They took WCW Sting and tried to put him in WWE.
Yeah, well, and the storyline was that you never expected this to happen, right? You know,
it
like,
basically was that
the storyline. Yeah, the storyline was, look, he's here. It's here. He's Sting. You never thought this was going to happen, did you? Well, look, it happened.
and the only little bit that they have right now was like saying, hey, for the first time in, you know, however many 20 years or whatever, you know, Sting is on TNT. Like, that was pretty much it. And other than that, now it's like, all right, what's Sting's deal? What's he going after? What's the purpose and all that? And like building his new persona, like, I like it. I like the way they're approaching it.
And even that was good. Like, the idea of him not being on, you know, like, basically they were like,
it's all there, dude. Sting could just go, Cody, you're associating with Arn Anderson, the guy who decimated your father on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
Broke his leg.
Like, there's so much there. It's
a fuckwad you are, basically.
Yeah, you seem to be a dipshit.
You, sir, are a dipshit.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think there's a lot of potential there. I think AEW at the very least does interesting things, and the things that they do that are interesting tend to go in the direction of what we want to see. You know, I have said this enough about WWE, but at times it's so frustrating because it feels like WWE just wants to try so hard not to give us what we want. They want to tease us with it. They want to dangle it in front of us, but they never want to give us what we want because that would be too predictable or, you know, whatever. AEW has no problem doing that. You know, there has been those references to Darby Allin being Sting or Sting Light or a Sting copycat forever. And they're like, yeah, fuck it. We're not even going to dick around about it. The minute Sting shows up, he's going to get right in Darby Allin's face. Like,
and Darby's going to be in the rafters.
Yeah, right. And then Sting's going to be in the rafters above the rafters.
And I'm not even bullshit. I think Darby was in the rafters this week.
Oh,
he was sitting on like almost the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where he sits. That's where he hangs out.
Sting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so it's
even
great.
AEW, the stuff that we don't expect. Like I didn't think they'd break up Eddie and Pentagon and stuff. That stuff so quick, and that went that way, and that's interesting TV.
Well, with Pac coming back, it kind of made sense that Triángulo de Muerte kind of reformed.
Yeah, I want my boys back.
But the way they broke the group up was interesting.
Yeah, that I definitely agree because now you're trying to find out where does Eddie Kingston fit in, and I think that's kind of where the potential downfall for AEW could be, because I feel like they might grow too large too fast, and they're putting all this other talent on Dark, right? And so what may end up happening is you got all this people on the AEW roster, and for the fear of them floundering, they may just throw them in like random stuff and just kind of see what sticks. That's probably like my number one fear is AEW could, for lack of a better word, not know what to do with all those bodies.
Oh, yeah. I felt like that. Yeah, I felt like that at times over the last year. I felt like that with some of the pairings. Like they put people together just because, you know, like they didn't have anything else to do with them. So it's kind of like adding Butcher and the Blade to that family, right? Like Eddie Kingston and the Lucha Bros, that kind of makes sense. You know, they're Hispanic. They're fucking all the same kind of guys, right? But then the Butcher and the Blade, that's just this weird team to have added to that group, you know? So there's things like that where I feel like AEW just wanted to make sure guys stayed on TV, you know, and stayed active, but really didn't have much for them. I give them a lot of credit for constantly shuffling the deck and giving everybody opportunities of being like number one contenders and champions and all of that, because I feel like a lot of their mainstays have all been featured very well. The guys that were brought in early on and have been there since the beginning have all had championship matches or been number one contenders. They've done great things. You know, it's been really cool to see the growth. At times, though, yes, you can get a little worried about what they're doing and how fast they're growing, who they're bringing in and why they're bringing those people in at, you know, like Miro is a perfect example of somebody who I always want to see on my screen. And I think AEW's already proven that they don't have to do like these stereotypical foreigner storylines in order to just have him be this character. Like, he's fucking awesome. And, you know, the fact that his whole thing with Kip Sabian is that they play video games together, and they gave him an arcade game that they got really mad about somebody breaking. You know, all that shit was stupid, but it was still fun to watch. And Miro is still fun to watch when he's involved in whatever storyline he's in. So like, that guy is a talent, you know, and that's somebody that WWE probably shouldn't have let go.
They like whoop some ass this week on the show. So
they're good. Yeah. But like, you know, I haven't seen Zack Ryder back on TV since, you know, he appeared. And that's somebody like that I'm talking about that I was worried about getting, you know, a lot of TV time. He's not somebody that I'm super excited about seeing, and I don't
think he ever actually signed. I think they never put him on a long-term contract. Yeah.
They put a shirt out, and I think that was the end of it.
Yeah. Well, And I mean, you got to make those kind of decisions, to be honest. I think that they're doing a much better job with finding talent that we've never seen before that are awesome.
But Neo's right, man. If they get way too many people over on Dark, everyone's going to want those people on national TV. And then there's going to be so many people trying to find a spot on national TV. It's going to get ridiculous. So, they have a problem, but it's kind of a good problem in a way.
Yeah, no,
it's kind of a good problem in a way, but they don't have enough TV to portray and to show off everybody, unless they extended AEW Dark because it's on YouTube. Like, unless they did that into 2 hours, I could see that happening. But
which they can. I don't see
they
why
can.
Yeah.
But who knows, right?
Yeah.
That's my only kind of workaround that I could foresee them doing is stretching out Dark.
And you made a great point about that weeks and weeks ago. And every time we brought up Dark, you've made great points about Dark, and I think that some of us old fuddy-duddies don't see it the same way because it's not on national TV and whatnot. But it's like you've said, I think that what AEW is doing a great job at is growing a new audience and a younger audience. They make it accessible for people by putting Dark out there for free. And not only that, but Dark features so much independent talent from around the country that people from around the country are going to tune in to watch people that they've seen at their local promotions, get an opportunity with AEW.
Yep. Local Cody Chun from up here. He just appeared on Dark this week.
Oh, and I've heard nothing but good things about him.
I've
heard tremendously good things about him. Yeah. So AEW is doing very good things when it comes to that stuff. I know we kind of gave them a shot there earlier on when it came to their women's division, which is growing and doing better, but just hasn't expanded at the rate that a lot of us would like to see. The rest of their show is doing a great job at featuring talent that really hasn't been given an opportunity before, but they had their biggest show of the year of their short lifespan. I think at least their biggest episode of Dynamite with the Winter is Coming episode, because not only did we have Sting show up, but we also had the AEW championship match between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley that they did an absolutely tremendous job of building up just from the beginning of the tournament to the end of this match, which saw Kenny Omega become the new AEW world champion.
The world's champion. And with that, I mean, not only was it a very great wrestling match to watch, but then the quote unquote golden screw job. Did you guys hear that term, the golden screw job?
The golden screw job.
I did not, but I like it.
Obviously with Kenny Omega and Don Callis, kind of a little shenanery on the ring apron, which kind of helped Omega in a way. Depending on how you see it, because there's in one hand, people may think Don Callis did it on purpose, but on the other hand, Kenny Omega saw a father figure in Don Callis get attacked by that thug ruffian, Jeans Ambrose.
Yeah, Ambrose is a bitch. Yeah.
And so therefore, the microphone falling into the ring, and Omega, with so much anger and vengeance and revenge in his eyes, he picked up the nearest thing that he saw and defended his father.
Fucking elitist apologist, motherfucker.
Beautiful.
How dare you?
Hey, if your father was being, your
dad,
if your papa was being, roughed up by some ruffian in jeans, wouldn't you not defend your father?
Not with a microphone, but yeah, no, I'm with you.
That was the nearest thing available to he.
One time a guy punched my dad at one time a guy punched my dad at the bar and we threw him down a flight of stairs, but that's that's a crazy situation. Great match, fantastic finish, obviously a great finish that makes everybody look good. and leads to Kenny Omega being the bastard that he is now. Arguably, according to Neo doesn't see him as being the bastard that he is.
No, he defended his father's honor.
His dad. He defended his dad.
His da.
John Moxley had a tremendous run as champion and kind of goes out like a G, having all of this shenanery.
But then again, Fedora's on boys.
Yep.
His old lady's pregnant.
My lady.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I heard they've reestablished the name Dean Ambrose. So clearly he lost the title because he's going back to the WWE, guys.
That's exactly what's happening.
He's gonna go lead Retribution. He's gonna pick up where he left off.
Oh,
yeah, he's gonna get that gas mask back on.
Yeah.
Hashtag save Retribution.
It's clean Ambrose.
So this led over to one of the most interesting things that has happened in pro wrestling in some time.
Ever?
No, I won't say ever, but this was very akin to Degeneration X showing up on their own little tank at a WCW show one time. But
no, because these guys were on air.
No, I know. Well, shut up. Don't ruin it. Yeah. Kenny Omega.
AEW paid for
TV
screen time on that channel. That was hilarious.
So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, Impact also had their biggest episode in history because it was announced that AEW champion Kenny Omega would be appearing on their show. At one point, they had nearly 100,000 viewers on Twitch, which was by far it doubled their highest amount of Twitch streamers ever, I think, in an episode.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's that rub. You're welcome. So the first we're going to address the commercial because there was an amazing paid for advertisement by Tony Khan who appeared just to say that he was paying for an advertisement to help Impact out because they needed the money.
And it was like the cheesiest commercial
Not
in the
only
world.
that, but it was the most shit-talking commercial in the fucking world.
It was literally a commercial that you would see on ROH. It's pretty.
It was so great. The only thing that I missed was I wanted the commercial to start with the NWO, the following advertisement has been paid for by the New World Order. New World Order. I will say that yes, I did send my friend TK Tony Khan a message about this, and he did send me a little heart back through the DMs, but that's only because I couldn't believe that he. Oh, I'm doing it. I'm dropping that TK.
Gross.
Yep.
Gross.
But he was incredible in that spot, and the whole thing. First of all, I didn't know that Impact and AEW was going to even be a thing until I saw Trisha Parker's tweets about her dream matches between AEW and Impact stars. And when she tweeted that out, I was like, oh, that's cute. And then after that, all I heard was people being like, yeah, I can't wait for this AEW Impact crossover thing to happen. So it's people have known for a while that it was
the leader of our podcast, guys.
Yeah. But
the THC is kicked in. Sorry,
I can tell. But we had the Kenny Omega Don Callis bit. It was very good. The interview with Josh Matthews.
Talk about really shooting it. What's the term? Shooting in the square, or what's the smarky ass term?
Ribbon on the square.
There, yeah, that one, man. They were just going back and forth, oh, hey, Josh, you remember Dean Ambrose from Tough Enough? You fucking Stanford stooge. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
My fedora was
yeah. They're we're not even going to say some of this shit on AEW because we don't want to fuck up that show, but we'll say it over here. I specifically like Don Callis saying, "Do you think I gave up an international business to come be a color commentator for New Japan? This was in the plan the whole time."
I was like, "Whoa,
yeah, good shit, man." It's just all very fun. I think that's the biggest thing about it is it's fun. It has that same feeling of feeling wrong. It, like your intelligent adult side says, obviously these two companies have come to an agreement to work together and this is how it's going to go. And it's very smart business for both of them.
So much shit talking where you kind of like, damn, they're really digging into each other. Right. Like how do they agree to this?
Now, here's the thing though, is in a wrestling locker room, this is exactly what you see when they're about to go out there and cut promos on each other. It's the same shit. You wouldn't believe how excited they get. Like, they'll even give the other people shit to say about them. Like, oh, make fun of the glasses that I wear or some shit. That'd be really funny. Yeah, just go fucking real hard about my mom and, like, talk about her dying and shit.
My mom.
Yeah, my mom. Yeah, all of that, right? Like they have those discussions and people get like amped about telling their opponent to, this is what to go after, or maybe say this about me or whatever.
It's like a roast battle, man. It's like everyone's agreed that we might say some shit that no one should take offense to.
Yeah, but roast battles are different because they don't particularly give their opponents ammunition in the same way that it happens in like the wrestling locker room.
Sure.
Unless it's the Usos versus the New Day. And when that rap battle happened, from our personal knowledge, that shit got dirty and they did not share any information. And what we saw on TV was a legitimate roast of each other. But this is
to this day when Uso raps about Austin Creed, fucking Paige, I was like, oh my God.
Still can't believe that made it onto an episode of SmackDown.
That was a thing.
Yeah, totally. But I think this is great. I think it's great for both companies because I think Impact obviously can use, and Impact
they can use the rub.
Right. I didn't even know Impact was on Access TV before this week. Like that's no joke. Like I'm sure I've seen it a million times, but it just never registered with me, and I never bothered to go seek it out. But with what was happening with the AEW thing and Kenny Omega coming on, I was like, oh, what channel's Impact on? And I was like, Access? I got that.
And you know what? Smartly enough, the fact that they also go on Twitch, I thought that was tremendous. That means it's readily available for anybody who has access
if you made an
Twitch.
Excuse. I haven't been able to see it. You can see it. Go ahead.
For free on Twitch at any point.
And in all honesty, too, I really wish I did watch it on Twitch because the amount of ASPCA commercials that came on that channel really broke my heart.
It's rough.
You're
gonna
it wasn't even.
He's gonna walk away with 2 new cats. Don't even fucking start.
It's not that song anymore, Uncle Beek. It's the Christmas song about Noel.
No.
No. And I'm just like, and they show puppies trembling in the cold weather.
It's fucking monsters.
How do they play that during professional wrestling?
They're a bunch of heels.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's always the dogs, man. Before we had the Westminster Kennel Club interrupting our show. Now we got dogs crying and we're feeling bad about ourselves and adopted puppies.
Oh, Japan puppies. So, but I thought, someone on Twitter told me that the Twitch channel had a little bit of more video packages in between commercials, which I would have wanted to see because there was absolutely positively no video packages if you're watching it on Access. If you're watching for the first time on Access, as Don Callis told you to, and you're watching, you're just like, well, what the fuck is going on? Like I saw Tommy Dreamer. I think I recognize him. I saw who else? Fucking now I can't even remember.
Rob Van Dam's on that show.
But I will say, not any longer. He's not on there anymore.
Oh, Rob's not. Oh, he left now.
Yeah, he left. But I will say that they definitely
Eric Young.
They dropped the ball when it came to like utilizing this night as a great night to showcase their talent, right? Like if they were smarter about it, they would have had, you know, a great night of great matches keyed up. Instead, what did we see? A whole lot of greatest hits shit that they played. Like they showed the Steiner math and they showed a bunch of stuff like
on Twitch, right?
No, this was on Access too. Like this was just some of the like
they do show a lot of like old stuff.
Yeah, like it was just, you know, it's like in between the commercial or like the when they're coming back from commercial and stuff like that. But yeah,
they'll even have a segment that'll be an old match. Somebody equated it to like a wrestling variety show. There's like so much stuff going on Impact. There's hard to find a through line, but I'm definitely interested to watch it more now that I know it's on Twitch.
That is definitely a good point. Like there are things that I saw that made me want to come back and watch it more. I definitely like a lot of the people that they have on there. They have some great talent. Chris Bay, Rich Swann, The North. Like there's an incredible lineup of talent. Motor City. Like I couldn't believe they were back. Like that was really cool to see. But they definitely could have used this night just a little better to like be like, this is what we are now. You know, put it all out there and be like, this is what we are now. Not focusing so much on their history as well. Yeah. But regardless, the Kenny Omega thing was awesome. Sunglasses, the off-putting attitudes, everything about it. I can't wait to see where this goes. And I think if AEW is smart, they would continue building relationships like this with all the other companies. The WWE is the one that established their own rules, right? Nobody has ever said that the other companies can't fucking work together all they want, pop in and out of each other, all four of them, get Ring of Honor. You know, like we had this discussion about Impact needing to work with Ring of Honor more, I think, on the last episode. Yeah. So it's just crazy that here we are that AEW and Impact are working together because it's that same thing where the two shows together, you know, Neo said it, they already had an abundance of talent on AEW, but the two shows together could not only like give them more places to showcase that talent, but it could allow for them to kind of dip into some of Impact's, you know, top tier talent and steal some of those guys and make their roster even better. It opens that door at least.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then the fact that you have some Impact talent now crossing over to New Japan for the Super J Cup, I mean, it leads a lot to the imagination. And I'm here for it.
And it's funny, recently Triple H said that they even would be willing to work with other companies, but like, sounds like all the other companies are already working together. Who are they going to pick? They're going to just randomly pick some indie that nobody's even heard about?
Progress. They'll work with ICW.
That's what I was thinking.
They'll work with whoever they can find.
They're going to work with other companies like they're going to bring back FCW. They're going to
cool if they work with Noah.
They're going to do Evolve, and then they're going to bring back WCW. They're just going to bring back their own intellectual properties and create their own companies to work with.
I still think to this day one of the biggest balls dropped was continuing to call SmackDown and not just making it WCW. I still think that they would have been brilliant to create their own competitor and make it truly its own separate thing instead of having it be, you know, this show versus show battle.
I personally, I would have dropped Raw. I think SmackDown is a more interesting property name. Like,
sure,
has a connection to The Rock. It's more recognizable. Just the word Raw doesn't invoke wrestling to a non-wrestling fan. The word SmackDown, I think that does.
Wait, what about Raw is War Games?
War Games.
War Games.
War
Raw
Games.
is my wife.
All right, we're fucking done here. Let's do winners of the week, shall we? I'm going to start with the guy that's never here, the founder and proprietor of this shit show, Mr. Joshua Schlag. Let's get your winner of the week.
Shit, you are doing this to me, aren't you?
Yep, I wanted to put you on the spot. I know it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, probably based on your shirt, but let's hear it.
Yeah. Let's go with Aaron Rodgers. That's
fuck no. If Beek can't do charities, you can't do Aaron Rodgers. Let's go.
Say what's that?
No,
what's
fuck
that
you.
Finkel, what was that? Einhorn.
Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he doesn't do it anymore, but he always motioned the championship belt.
That's true.
He's got his own DX themed T-shirt from the Pat McAfee show.
Josh is wearing it right now, dropping dimes and stuck it signs.
That's right. No, actually, you know what? I texted this to my brother before War Games was on, like as I was like
War Games
was on. And I was like, you know what? And I was sort of tongue in cheek because we were talking about the Packers game, but like I was like, you know, I feel obligated to tune into War Games and just, you know, see what's up with Pat McAfee on there and all that. Aaron Rodgers' boy. It's not really the reason I tuned in, but for reasons that we mentioned earlier, he's dedicated to the craft. I love it, and I guess I'm gonna kind of give it to him, but just sort of him as like, you know, representing NXT War Games as a whole, because I feel like NXT is gonna go off to do other stuff with Finn Balor, as they alluded to. War Games with McAfee at towards the top of the billing with the Undisputed Era. I loved it. It was a really fun show. So yeah. Let's leave it at that.
Yep, I agree. It was fun. Neo, your winner of the week?
Yeah, it's got to go to the literal winner, Kenny Omega with Don Callis. I mean, it was, you know, it was definitely the most talked about thing in wrestling. I felt like it even overshadowed a lot of, you know, the WWE stuff by far. The gall of, or even the audacity to cross promotions and to really sink their teeth into a bit or a promo and really just kind of bite into it.
They had a drone shot of the fucking limo arriving at Impact Wrestling for like 45 minutes before they actually showed anything else.
Their own EVP, Don Callis, was telling in the interview on Impact, was telling Kenny Omega, hey, we got a champion here. Do you want it? Rich Swann, you know? and I thought that was like, holy moly. Like they're really like, if you know, if you were an Impact person, you're like, wow, they're really talking shit about my champion, Rich Swann. And they're really discrediting him again, gardening that heat, that, you know, creating that storyline. So I felt like the Kenny Omega angle with Don Callis has now branched out so much into all these other subplots, because he talked about Japan, he talked about you know, all of his work on the indies, he talked about, you know, his stuff at AEW and now at Impact and even at AAA. Like he even shot on AAA. Like he's like, oh, I'm just going to be this belt collector now. I'm going to go.
Yeah, because he's the AAA champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Triple Mania is going to be on the 10th or the 11th or the 12th. I got to Google it, man. So yeah, just he's on his way to Mexico soon.
Give it a goog.
So
man,
I mean,
Kenny Omega, man, he's the fucking the guy. He even called Dean Ambrose. I was like, wow. He took off that Dean Ambrose plate from his title and gave it to that Stanford stooge that was doing the interview.
It's incredible.
It's rough. Incredible.
It reminds me, the only thing I can think of that it reminds me of is when what was it? Was it the Hardy Boys were like challenging people all over the place, and they
Expedition of Gold.
Yeah, the Expedition of Gold, right? And I mean, that to me was so cool and unique. I thought it was a great way for Impact to bring in some of those other promotions that they wanted to work with, and Impact wanted to start featuring like smaller promotions, which was kind of cool, you know, like they wanted to feature stuff like from Defy and, you know, all over the United States that you just don't normally get to see. I think Limitless Wrestling was going to be part of their thing. So like, I mean, that was a great idea. I think the only difference there is that you know, you kind of got to go up for Impact Wrestling, not down, you know, and
yeah.
What Impact doing, or what AEW is doing right now, is at least they're working kind of with lateral promotions. You know, I'm not going to say Impact Impact's probably a step down for most people in most people's opinion, but you got to give Impact credit for how long they've been around. Shit, man, we thought Impact was dead in the water like 20 times, you know, in its existence, and it's still rolling. So
they have a lot going for them talent wise. It's just like
and they
ROH,
always have.
And it's just like ROH. Like they need more production. They're probably going to need like, you know, better writing, you know. But the good thing is that Impact has that relationship with AAA also, so there could be some cross promoting there. You know, I just feel like if they're going to do something, man, you just got to do it right. You got to do it wholeheartedly. You know, you can't fuck up on this.
Man, you aren't lying, dude. You and I were there when Silas Young came backstage at Ring of Honor with his head split open, and the lack of medical attention available.
We were literally just looking. Josh was there. Josh was there too.
It was fucking frightening, the lack of medical attention on staff at a pay-per-view. This wasn't even like Ring of Honor's weekly show. This was one of their biggest pay-per-views of the year.
I seem to remember, like, hey, can you give me another wad of paper towels? Like,
they went into Mega Rand's dressing room to fucking fix his head. Jesus Christ, man. It was wild. Like, I think that people don't realize how small some of even these shows that are on television still are by comparison to the juggernaut that is WWE. You know, again, though, AEW, hats off to them for what they're doing and bridging these gaps. Beek, your winner of the week?
I will continue filleting Impact Wrestling, saying that they are the winner of the week based off this partnership. Their viewership went up. People are actually interested. I hope it. I was actually excited about it, even though I didn't necessarily get to tune in the show right away. I just am interested in this rivalry painting out. If you're a wrestling fan, this is cool. You know what I mean? Two companies actually working in conjunction.
Very cool.
That is cool.
And two domestic companies.
Exactly.
Together. Two domestic companies.
And like we were saying before, Impact used to just highlight lower wrestling. For a while, they actually even had weekly shows of other companies on this. I think that could actually still be a good asset to them. Featuring those smaller companies, but this partnership can only be beneficial. I hope it lasts for a little bit longer than just a cup of coffee, as they say.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And I'm going to have to piggyback for my winner of the week on Neo, because I can't think of anybody other than Kenny Omega and Don Callis for this week. It was easily the biggest thing in wrestling, and it just goes to show how much, you know, you can still push the envelope and make things exciting. You know, WWE can't do this because everything that they want to try do is going to be in-house. And NXT guys showing up on Raw, we've seen that before. It's been done. These guys going over there, this happening, no matter what they do, it's always going to be like an internal WWE thing. They're never going to branch out.
It's always in-house.
Yeah, they're never going to branch outside of their own shadow to make partnerships with other companies. And the fact is that much like, you know, Jordan Grace's Twitter post, this is exciting to think about the potential fantasy matchups that we're going to see. Impact has a tremendous amount of young talent. So does AEW. And there's a lot of like crossover that could be really fucking cool. You know, there's a lot of tag team matches we've never seen before. I like I said, I love the North, so I would love to see the North go in there and mix it up with some of the tag teams that AEW has. But with all that being said, the Kenny Omega win of the championship has been like a really well-crafted story, and it had just this amazing twist ending with Don Callis coming in. Like you already knew Kenny was going to be a piece of shit, and you got the feeling from his actions that he was gravitating in that direction. And when you saw them dancing girls come out with those brooms, you were like, something's up. I don't like this Kenny Omega so much. So yeah, it's just been a really fun ride. And I'm excited to see where it goes next. I think that for WWE, the Roman Reigns storyline is still the best thing going on, and it's still the only thing that really makes me go, well, can't wait to see where next week
Roman happens. Yeah, just want to see what Roman does at this point.
Roman's the best bad guy in professional wrestling right now.
And they didn't build Roman in a day either.
They did not build Roman in a day.
Ooh, it built him in like 5 years, bro.
Yeah, it took 5 years.
Took a minute.
Booing him a lot and having a main event WrestleManias and
Suffering succotash.
Oh, don't remember when he beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Don't make me sing the song, because I'll sing the song. Someone told me long ago Roman Reigns was gonna go over Undertaker's last match. All right, I'm all done. I want
the devil is in Undertaker 6.
Oh yeah, the
devil's in his 6.
Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 430 of the Steel Cage. Josh, do we have any emails before we go? No. Oh, he gave me a finger. All right. Well, you can get us all on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Neo is at the NeoEcks with an ECKS at the end. Beek is at James Vanderbeek. That's JAIMS Vanderbeek. And Josh is at Schlizag. But of course, all roads lead to at the Steel Cage. Send us an email. We'll pester Josh for them, and he won't give them to us, and it'll be a part of a joke. But that's at podcast@thesteelcage.com. And check out our t-shirt store at thesteelcageshop.com. Our shirts, of course, are the king of soft style. Beek store, though, that's the fun one. That's the one that you never know what you're going to find over there. Get that at pentagonzo.com. And there might be a sale or two happening. Maybe now, maybe before Christmas. Who knows? Always. Go on there, check it out. But thank you guys so much again for listening. We appreciate it. We hope all of you, if you don't listen to us again before the big day, have a happy holiday. And remember, kids, go out there and make them go absolutely banana. Yeah, you push me to the limit, but you never get it right. You're always taking what you give it. It's gonna take all night. Yeah, the cops are in the alley. They just don't understand. We want a riot, not a rally. Come on and take my hand to the Murder City Shakedown. Banana hammock. That's a Pat Patterson shout out.
Yep. Ever since I learned that, I very rarely say bananas. I always say banana.
I say banana.
Yeah. I love you guys.
Love you, buddy. Thanks for joining.
See ya.
Yep. Good to see everyone's faces.
Have a good evening.
Yes, sir. You too.
You too. All of you
guys.
Later. All right. So you do everything, Josh? You do all the hard work? All right. I'll talk to you later.
I'm doing the heavy lifting today.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Josh.
You guys.
You're the best.